The woman tried to hang on. There was a bystander nearby who tried to help her, but tragically she fell about 5 to 6 stories below where she died, landing on concrete.
Incredibly tragic, and he was talking about a woman, a 79-year-old woman from down in Florida who was walking her bike across a drawbridge and fell. Now, usually in a case like this, I would spend a lot of time talking about the woman who fell, the 79-year-old. I would tell you everything about her so you could remember the victim and understand the victim. But in this particular case, the victim's family doesn't want her named. So we will respect that on this program and on this network. So as you listen to the facts of the story, you may be thinking, well, why aren't we talking about the victim? That's because the family doesn't want us to. So know that going in. WPTV is our affiliate down in West Palm Beach, Florida. They have more of the details of this incredible tragedy.
This report is going to be the final say as to what happened.
The bridge tender Artissua Paulk has been charged with manslaughter by culpable negligence. In her arrest report, she claims that she followed protocol by checking multiple times for pedestrians before raising the bridge. But West Palm Beach Police Department says there's evidence that tells a different story.
There are a number of different camera angles from different sources that were taken into account for evidence and reviewed to corroborate the witnesses' statements.
The arrest affidavit goes on to show that Paulk's supervisor, Kathy Harper, who is also her mother-in-law, told in a text to her cell phone to tell investigators she checked for pedestrians on the bridge. Harper then told her to delete the message.
Detectives were able to determine what was on that cell phone, what had been deleted from that cell phone, what was relevant to the case.
The victim's attorney, Lance Ivey, calls it a conspiracy.
The disturbing part is the lengths that they are willing to go, again, to perpetuate a fraud against who wasn't here to give her side of the story.
Despite Harper's involvement, West Palm Beach police say there are no other pending charges at this time. Ivey, though, says he is considering suing Harper as well.
In fact, we find that there was some contributory negligence on her part. That may be an avenue where she might be made a party to this lawsuit as well.
All right, he's talking about a lawsuit. There are criminal charges in this case. That's what makes this case a little different. You know, you mess up, you do something that's not on purpose. Obviously, you should be liable for those damages. That's civil law. Criminal law it's beyond negligence. Your conduct is so atrocious that your liberty should be taken away. That's what criminal cases are about. Let's bring back in the think tank Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Rick King. This is in your backyard. This is in your backyard.
Literally
down
in my backyard
in West Palm Beach. So interested in your thoughts about this case, this story, and the fact that this is now a criminal case.
So in my backyard is an understatement. That bridge is probably actually less than a mile from my office and probably a mile and a half from my house. So it's definitely in my backyard. And when you hear about the case locally, you know, one of the things that, because, you know, obviously we've spoken about the case. I spoke with colleagues this evening. And what we talked about was, so when you think about manslaughter and by culpable negligence, you think about something where it is so reckless and so egregious that you knew or should have known what was going to happen. In this case, what she didn't do, what this woman didn't do, was she didn't go out and check. She never went outside, and she never looked around, and they were able to establish that by camera angles. And then what she did that probably got her charged was she lied. When they asked her about it, she lied, and that's why she's in criminal court today, I believe. But
the charges aren't lying. The charges are not lying. You're saying because she lied, they said, "Oh, okay, we're going after you."
Because it has some sort of, it's an air of just of a misdoing, you know, of a misdeed. So she lied because, most likely she lied because she was scared, but she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and that's clear. You're supposed to walk out there, and then the supervisor / mother-in-law gives her terrible advice to lie and then try to hide the evidence. And those things all together will get you charged.
Michael Sterling, we talk about this issue a lot, and we've had a few cases here at Court TV where you have conduct that is not on purpose. She didn't wake up. She didn't want to harm anyone, but she did because of her actions. Those are the allegations, right? So, Michael, is this the type of case that crosses over the line? Like prosecutors who prosecuted Kim Potter believed that she crossed that line into the world of criminal conduct by not doing her job at work. Some people look at Alec Baldwin and say, no, you can't charge him. How do you see this one? Because, again, we know she didn't go out there and intend to kill or harm anyone.
Well, I wouldn't compare this case to those two. I think this case is particularly distinctive. I think Rick raises good points, and it seems like he was leaning towards where I am, which is that, you know, she did multiple things that you probably would do in terms of warning people, putting on the lights, saying 3 times, I believe, that the bridge was coming up, doing some things, and I think she failed to do one of the protocols, one of the 3 things that she would have had to do, which is actually go down to the balcony, look on the bridge, and actually make sure no one was there. So she failed to do one of the 3 protocols that she would have been required to do. So I do think, Vinny, in terms of what she did do versus what she didn't do, this case does sort of cross over the line. I think it's something that really should be handled in civil court.
Civil. So you say this should not be in the criminal court. Ann Bremner, let me ask you.
I don't think so.
Ann, how do you compare her conduct versus Kim Potter's conduct, the police officer who thought she was shooting a taser but had her service weapon and killed and murdered, and not murdered, but killed Dante Wright, and versus Alec Baldwin, who had a gun in his hand that he thought was not loaded and shot and killed Helena Hutchins?
Well, they didn't mean it. But the fact is they're charged. I mean, they all were operating dangerous instrumentalities. Alec Baldwin shouldn't have, pointed a gun at somebody. You always assume a gun's loaded. You know that. You know, when you look at Kim Potter, she definitely was trained and did the wrong thing and killed somebody. It's negligent. Alec Baldwin, negligent. What about this? You know, and the fact that she lied after the fact is consciousness of guilt. She said, I killed a lady on the bridge, the police are here. And then she's basically trying to backtrack with her mother-in-law / supervisor by basically saying, I'll say that I went and did all these checks, but she didn't. So I see these 3 cases as very similar. And when you're dealing with these kinds of situations, you cannot cut corners, and you can't lie. And that's exactly what she did. Kim Potter didn't lie, that I remember. And I don't know that Alec Baldwin lied. We haven't heard that full case yet. But this woman lied, and she took a life. She wasn't careful, and that's criminal negligence because it's outrageous in this case. What happened?
We will continue to track this one. Again, these are the types of cases that are very difficult, but what I'm seeing in this country, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, is I see prosecutors being much more aggressive in going after conduct that isn't like, okay, oh yeah, this is a crime. I mean, these are cases that are in that gray area, and it seems prosecutors are leaning towards charging people now. Go ahead, Rick, I see it on the tip of your tongue.
But when you look at these cases in the past, these culpable negligence cases, they are Johnny was spinning the barrel of the gun and the gun went off and he shot somebody. He was doing something so reckless that he knew or should have known by playing with that gun, somebody could get shot. I remember another case where a guy had a shotgun and he blasted into the side of a trailer and somebody was inside the trailer and he was convicted of manslaughter because he knew that there was an inherent danger to firing that shotgun into the side of that wall or that side of that building. This isn't those cases. This person, and as Michael actually very, very elegantly pointed out, that she did 2 of the procedures she was supposed to do. She didn't do one of them, but I think she's on, and I think that she is on trial here or charged with the crime because she lied. Yeah. Because she lied to the police about what happened.
But I feel it. There's prosecutors that are getting much more aggressive on these types of cases. All right, they're staying.